General Hasanan, what's your reading of the current tactical and strategic situation? Because on the one side, we've got India responding aggressively, making tactical maneuvers which seem to have caught the Chinese off guard. US intelligence reports seem to suggest that the PLA is furious for having lost these positions to the Indian army. We're now entrenched on the heights. We're also reporting that in Finger 4 on the ridgeline, the Indian army has been able to establish a position. Is this a strong enough bargaining chip for a quid pro quo? Or do you see China being so furious as to want to escalate, and that's something we need to be very wary of right now?
Thank you, Rahul. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And like General Dwivedi, I have the same record, Siachen to Eastern Ladakh and commanding there at Pangong So. So one knows this ground rather well, and I endorse exactly what General Dwivedi has just said. But there are three areas which we need to take stock of. One is the north of the Pangong So, the Fingers area where something has happened today. The other is the two areas south of Pangong So. One is the Blacktop and Helmet Top area, and what I learned is something more in the Razangla area. Now, the Razangla area has not been described by too many people, but that's a very important piece of ground again, which is the area which would have dominated the road going from Chushul to a pass called Sakala and going on to Dungti into the Indus Valley. That also apparently seemed to have been occupied by us, thereby denying that pass to the Chinese, and therefore probably enhancing your overall defensive capability in the complete Chushul bowl. As far as the north of Pangong So is concerned, no doubt that the Chinese may have occupied Finger 4 and moved slightly behind Finger 4, but there is always ground which is higher up, and we have done the right thing by sending out some patrols perhaps and gone and occupied certain ground which is higher and in a dominating area. Now, one thing you have to be cautious of. You may go and establish yourself anywhere. The question is sustainability and your ability to hold on. Now, most of these positions don't have any prepared defenses. Therefore, you have to dig down hard. You have to make sure you have reinforcement capability, counter-attack capability, if you want to make sure that you're going to give them a fight. Winter is not too far away, and I suspect that this is going to be held in winter too. So we have to have the capability to hold on these positions.
No, so can I just, for context of our viewers, explain what happened during the 1962 war, where the Indian army, because of Prime Minister Nehru's forward policy, was asked to establish forward posts. But those were penny packets, which is what General Hasanan is referring to, very small outposts which the Chinese were able to outflank, very often coming from the back, whether it's in the east in the Arunachal sector or in Ladakh, approach from the back, attack from the back, as well as send in attachments from the front, which led to these soldiers getting caught out in the middle. So how do we ensure, General Hasanan, that some of the mistakes which cost India in the 1962 war are not repeated in circa 2020?
Rahul, no battalion other than my own was involved in this. 4 Garhwal rifles fought the Battle of Jaswantgarh in Arunachal, Nifa. We lost 147 people fighting this battle. Exactly that. We were doing a covering troops action when the Sela defenses were being prepared there. And the Chinese are known to this, for this. They come and they contact you frontally, but invariably they also move from both possible flanks and try and engulf you, infiltrate into your rear and cut you off. Now, this is what we have to be careful of in a place like this. This is what they would have probably tried also in the Battle of Razangla. And this is what you need to be careful about. We are celebrating at the moment, but this moment everyone should be cautious of the fact that someone in the PLA is planning how to take advantage of the initial vulnerability that we may have there. And I'm sure all those loose ends have been tied up and closed, but no doubt that this was a great initiative. But the Chinese, remember, in mountains, there are areas which can always be occupied, which you may not have thought about. The Chinese, the area is still open. There are areas which the Chinese could come and occupy. You have to ensure that you keep them under surveillance and prevent this happening.